guys, so welcome back to another Remembering Forgotten Memories episode, and this one was a really weird, obscure one that I don't know what on earth made me suddenly remember it out of nowhere after not having thought about this in literally decades. My favorite part is that literally my parents do not remember it at all because they're like, that's too far back. Like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but okay, so um, this is gonna encompass two things. One that's still on the air. The other I do not believe is. If it is, I would be very surprised. But it starts with the latter one, actually. So when I was super, super little, I mean, we're talking before school age, okay? Um, there was this show that used to be on TV out here in California called The Big Spin. It took me all day to try to figure out what the show was called and a million Google searches till I finally managed to remember enough about it to be able to even ID it. But the second I saw the logo, I was like, that's it. That was it. And I found a couple videos of the show online. I was like, that is definitely the thing I'm remembering. But okay. So the Big Spin was basically like the California lottery. Every week had like basically a game show that went along with it. And obviously there was like the one big spin, which had like a wheel that was not entirely different to Wheel of Fortune, which I'm getting to later. But and basically I guess the gist of it was how much you would win with it. I don't know. They would also have like the balls that would choose the numbers for the California Lotto. I don't know. I was a literal preschool age child. Okay, I was a literal toddler. And you're asking me what how the show worked. I don't know. What I remember is that freaking wheel though. Okay? Because every time it would get to that, the show would air in like the early evenings. I'm pretty sure it was on a weekend. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it was one of the weekend days. Could be Saturday, could be Sunday, I don't know. But I know it was not late enough to be dark out yet because like the little blips of memories I'm getting about it, it was still light outside. It was like definitely in that kind of like twilight part of the evening. Um, but it would be on and they would spin the wheel and my maniac little self would be like, they're spinning the wheel, so I'm gonna spin in circles while they spin the wheel. And until that wheel stopped turning, I would just spin and spin and spin and spin in circles until either the wheel stopped or until I fell down and would just be like looking at the ceiling like, ooh, the room is like, woo, like that. Like, it would like throw your equilibrium off. You get all dizzy, a little bit nauseous. Pretty much, I would keep doing this until I would feel like I was going to throw up. I don't know why. As somebody who has a phobia of throwing up, I don't know why this was like a fun game I did every freaking time this show came on. I don't know. But every time they spun that damn wheel, again, little maniac me was over here like, I'm gonna spin with it. Spin, 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 spin. Do not ask me to do it now because I have full on vertigo now. And I have to wonder if it has anything to do with having done this as a little kid. I would blame it on it, but my brother also has it now and developed it at the same age I did. So I think it's just hereditary. It had nothing to do with this. But it is interesting, though, that I seem to have a thing for spinning until I would trigger that kind of like a vertigo ish response and then as soon as it wore off would just do it again for fun. As an adult, I'm like, what is fun about that? That is not fun. Like, that is not fun. I don't like feeling like I'm gonna throw up. What the hell, self? But as a little toddler, like, oh, this is big fun because not only am I gonna spin around till I fall down, now I'm gonna like lay on the floor and look at the ceiling and look, everything's upside down now, and I can pretend that the ceiling is the floor and pretend like I'm walking on the ceiling. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I was a strange child. I didn't have siblings yet. I was still an only child. I had no one to play with, so I would do weird shit to pass the time, and that was one of my weird ass little quirks. Uh, so it would do that, and when they would do like the pulling of the balls for the numbers for the lottery thing. Again, my weird little self didn't spin for that one. I felt the need that as each ball tumbled out of the wheel, I would do somersaults across the floor. Because reasons. I don't know. I don't freaking know, man. Like, somebody should have put me in gymnastics, except I probably would have hurt myself. I'm a klutz. Not much has changed. But yeah, it was like either spinning or somersaulting, or I want to say this was also the same show that had like that weird clear box thing where they would like turn on like the cyclone wind and make like the cash spin around the person. You have to like grab at the money. I think that was also in that show. And if it was, I seem to recall also spinning around during this, but also like reaching up as if I'm grabbing at the money. Like, I don't understand. I was a strange child, okay? Like, I think we have all established that throughout the course of this series, right? Right. So that was that show. My mom has no recollection of this. I don't think my dad was usually home when I would be doing this, or if he was in the garage working on cars. So I mentioned to him, trying to ask if he can remember. He's like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. All right, it sounds like something you do. I was like, yeah, because I did, but yeah. Anyway, so that was with that show. Wheel of Fortune, which was on every night, same freaking thing. They would spin the wheel, and I would spin in circles the whole time the wheel would be going, except at least on Wheel of Fortune, thank God that wheel is a much shorter spin cycle than the big spin had. Or at least in hindsight, it feels like it was shorter. Although they did it many more times on that show, so pretty much I would always hit a point of having to tap out because if I didn't, pretty positive I would have actually for real thrown up. But doing this in the front room, right next to the front door, I suppose if I had needed to throw up bad enough, just go lean out the front door and do it on the porch and hose it down. I don't know. I don't think I ever did it to the point of throwing up. I think I always just did it until I felt like I was going to, and then would just like lay there and be like, ooh. I just like the effect. Just the irony that now I hate anything that gives me that effect. I'm like, no, I don't like drinking enough to make me have that effect. I don't like being high enough to have that effect. I don't like having vertigo attacks that give me that effect. I don't like anything that makes me dizzy now. Like, no, thank you. But apparently, as a little kid, this was big fun for me for some strange reason. Does spinning in circles like that all the time give you brain damage? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it did though. But with Wheel of Fortune, it would have a twist because I would do that until I would like hit my tap out moment with it. But then, because I still wanted to be included and still wanted to somehow be involved in this show that was just on the TV that I was too little to actually truly understand how the game worked. Like, I knew how to read, but I didn't like comprehend how to guess the words and phrases yet at that age. Instead, when I would get too dizzy to do the spinny thing anymore, now I would get up and walk over to the TV and pretend to be Vanna every time she's pressing the button on the letters to do the thing. Yeah, I would like walk in front of the TV, and for every letter, I would like pose and or like just like stupid shit. Like as a little kid, like I know those arm gestures don't even line up. Trust me, I promise you they didn't line up as a little kid either, because that felt a little too natural to me there. So that's probably exactly how it worked back then. But yeah, so it would turn into that, or nah, or I would occasionally F up and actually hit the button on the TV and turn it off and get yelled at for enough to turn it back on real quick. But yeah, that. I was just like, imagine if we had like enough TVs like they do in a store to where I could actually hit the button for each letter, but like we would still have the other TVs on, so it'd be okay, but we would have enough for all the letters. And my mom just looked at me like, are you on crack? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, In hindsight, I'm like, yeah, what is wrong with you, little me? Like, bro, that doesn't even make sense. I think I just like the idea of playing Vanna and like getting to touch all the screens and make the things light up. But yeah, the irony around that same age, because I was so enamored with this, my dad got me like the NES game of Wheel of Fortune. Could not play it to save my life. Kind of actually hated that game. And even watching like Let's Plays of it now, I'm like, yeah, no, this game sucks. Like, sorry. There have been other versions of Wheel of Fortune video games that have been much better than that one, but the NES one was kind of crap. But also ironic that I was so taken by Vanna as a little kid and wanting to pretend to be Vanna with all the letters and ding and touch the letters, Allah, and all the stuff. What is my most used yarn brand as an adult? Vanna's Choice. And yes, it is that Vanna. Vanna White has a yarn brand, in case you were unaware. Yep, her face is literally on the label. Not even joking. And when I first started knitting, I believe that was the very first brand I ever bought too, because there was that recognition of the name. It runs deep, guys. It runs deep. Now, the irony that I had this weird, bizarre thing about spinning around while watching game shows that had spinning wheels, you would think that I would be like all up on Price is Right with the big wheel at the end of the show, right? Like before like the showcases at the end. Weirdly, I didn't do it with that one. I don't know if it's because that wheel didn't turn from like an overhead view where I could see it as a circle and it just like did it this way. Maybe that was the difference. But I literally never had a desire to do it with Price is Right. But to be fair, at that age, Price is Right, I typically wasn't watching the TV at the hour that would be on anyway. My mom was still watching it, but usually I was off playing with stuff. But these other two shows, by this time, it's getting near dinner time, and I'm kind of just like hanging around, really wanting my food. So I'm kind of just like hanging out near the kitchen with the TV on, kind of just like there, getting antsy, nervous energy because I want my food, but at the same time, just like now I'm bored because I don't have anything to play with out here. So I guess I'm gonna make up my own game while the TV is on the thing that I don't actually care about watching, but my mom's watching it, so this is what we're watching. But oh god, yeah. In hindsight, it's so dumb. It's so dumb and so weird. Because I'm like thinking about if like my nieces or nephews did this, I'd probably be looking at them like, bro, are you good? Like, but then again, I have to remember, little kids kind of just generally are weird. They're just different varieties, different flavors of weird, you know? But I seem to have encapsulated a lot of them all in one, but here we are. But yeah, I have no idea what the actual crap made me randomly remember that out of nowhere earlier. I have not thought about that show in probably 30 years, at least. Maybe 35 years at this point. It was on when I was really, really little. So I don't know what point they stopped showing that, but it seems like for as much as I remember it when I was crazy little, it doesn't seem like I remember it much further into my childhood. So maybe it was like a short-lived show. Like I don't know. Like obviously Wheel of Fortune is still on here. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about Big Spin. But like Big Spin apparently started in 85, year I was born. So, yeah, I was still pretty new at that point, but I don't know how many years it stayed on the air. Honestly, I don't really care that much, but it's just like, huh, really weird, super niche early childhood thing that I'd completely forgotten about. And since I randomly remembered it, I was like, let's make one of these videos out of it. So, anyway, there you go. Literally, no one cares besides me. I am positive of it, but that's okay. So, anyway, that's it. So, as usual, you know what to do. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe. Hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an upload. Leave comments down below. Make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my eBay, my Reddits, everything and more. It's all down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. Anyway, guys, until next time, see ya.